Hello all of you wonderful people, and yes, you know who you are. We are going to be talking today about meme build add-ons. And what I mean is that there are a large amount of killers in this game that have add-ons that are specifically designed not to be effective. So, an example of this would be... I think it's this one right here. Yeah, here we go. The Bee Soot. So the advantage is the Wraith's power makes him cloaked and emit no terror radius, and this add-on removes the visual. He's still cloaked, but it no longer suppresses the terror radius, and it doubles the blood point gains that you get. Well, what is the value of this? What is the value of these types of add-ons? Well, for one thing, it's important to note that what is a meme build add-on? Okay, so for example, this is a meme build add-on. What Myers has for, like, the Scratch Mirror and the Vanity Mirror, those are not meme build add-ons. Those are a very specific design choice of the character. We will cover them, but we're not going to be saying, like, oh, that's a meme build add-on, blah, blah, blah. Like, the design of a Scratch Mirror is designed to be very particular. It is designed to be a very strong add-on that works well with perks. And one of the reasons why I mentioned this, looking at, we'll just say, pick the Trapper for example. Most of your blood webs, every other blood web is usually going to have a meme build add-on. Like right here, Padded Jaws. Guaranteed. Okay, that's a meme build add-on. If you go to the Wraith, I have the Bee Soot in there. What about Billy? Do I have one for Billy? I think that's a yellow one for Billy. If I remember correctly, I think. I actually don't have it on Billy. But just to prove my point, most killers, that was 3 killers that I picked, and they all, 2 of them had a meme build in their blood web. So when I talk about that, that's what I'm referring to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through every single killer, and I'm going to highlight what constitutes your meme build add-ons, and we're going to talk about, are they really a meme, and how do you get them to work? So we're going to start from the bottom up, because less of these killers have meme build add-ons. Alright, so looking through the add-ons, we're going to look through each one individually just to show you that there's no real meme type add-on here. So, Demogorgon is out. What about Ghostface? Ghostface, I don't think he has one either. Alright, so these are your last 2 killers that we had, and they're both relatively serious type killers. They don't have any real meme build add-ons. And we have the Plague. Plague is another one. I don't think she has meme build add-ons. If I'm going too fast, you can pause this if you want to do that. I just want to... Nope, nothing there. The next one that we're going to go to is Legion. Again, no meme build. Alright, so what we have determined right now is that these 4 killers right here all are solid. They don't have any memes. No memes about them. My spirit is always going to lag. That's not the video. That's because of the outfit I have. Let's look at this. No, no. She just doesn't have it. I don't think Clown has it either, but we're going to check Clown just to be on the safe side. Nope. But Clown. Clown doesn't have it. I know he doesn't, but... Pig. Piggy Wiggy. She's not gonna have one. Alright, so the first killer of the game that is gonna have one is Freddy, because I know Freddy has one. So when we look at Freddy, this is what we're looking at, the Kid's Drawer. So what this does is whenever a survivor interacts with a dream snare, not a dream pallet, they get an additional 200 bonus blood points toward deviousness when they trigger it, but it considerably decreases the dream snare speed penalty. Basically, this removes the penalty for the most part. It lasts for like a fraction of a second in exchange for the blood points gained. So 200 blood points every time they trigger this, which gives you a notification that they've triggered it. And it gives you a decent chunk of blood points. So you could obviously use this for tracking. You can put these in places like around pallets and loops that a survivor may have to vault in order to give you some situational awareness. You may have to put it around gens, like you can surround a gen with these traps to make it so that they have to step into it. Is there another add-on, however, that we can combo with this to be really effective? These add-ons don't work. You could go for the blindness one, but I don't think that's really like going to buff it much, because they'll still be able to see the trap. A lot of people have told me that you want to pair this add-on with like dream pallets, but the point is, if you do that, it doesn't give you the blood points gained for it. So that add-on is worthless. Yeah, that's not going to work. Most of these are like quality of life things for like Freddy. Yeah, these things right here are not going to work for you. This is the one add-on that really does work very well, which is the black box. So the obsession starts in the dream world and they cannot be woken up. This means that they have no recourse to avoid the kid drawing. Now, if you don't necessarily mind in not getting the full value out of this, this is an incredibly good combination. This is the best combination you're going to get with this. But kids drawing actually doesn't have a real downside. If you're using the snares for information as opposed to a slowdown, Freddy is going to give you more bang for your buck on these add-ons. An extra 200 blood points for them stepping in a trap. I think they already get 100. You would get 100 for it. That's 300 blood points plus the information that it gives you, which is an insane amount. And having one person that is guaranteed to be affected by this at all times means you have one person that is going to be giving you those bonus blood points. They're not going to have a way around it. You're not going to have the speed advantage, obviously, but it is strong. So the next killer we're going to be talking about is going to be Leatherface. Leatherface does have it. Where is it? Here we go, the speed limiter. Speed limiter actually has a couple of things that work well. So what this does is the chainsaw does not automatically trigger the dying state, but you get 25% more blood points for a chainsaw hit. Now, you might be asking, what is the value of an add-on that does not down someone with the chainsaw, considering how hard the chainsaw is to hit? There's actually a lot of add-ons you can pair with this. So what you're going to be doing is you want to use the chainsaw sort of like an anti-melee. So if you look, one of his biggest strengths... Do I have a perk that I can run? Do I have like a... Oh yeah, it's kill your friend. You put on something like Save the Best for Last and Franklin's, right? Those are perks that activate off of M1s. So if you get the obsession, you can use the speed limiter to get the bonus blood points. It still injures them. So what add-ons can I run with this? Okay, the first thing that comes to mind right here is the Grizzly Chain. And obviously, you could swap that out for the Big Grime Chain, which is a better version. This is a very good combination, because, see, there's an important thing to note on him. If you chainsaw somebody, unless they have borrowed time, or Metal of Man, or they use the Styptic agent on themselves, they're going down when you hit them with the chainsaw. So you don't get to take advantage of something like a Big Grime Chain unless you pick the survivor up, you hook them, let's say 10-15 seconds has gone by, right? You know, you've got the cooldown of your chainsaw, you've got the pickup animation, even if there's a hook right next to you, you gotta carry them, you gotta have the hook animation. You gotta turn around at the very least, and if they get pulled off hook, a minimum of 15 seconds is gone from this timer, so it's realistically, we'll round it up to 20, say 100 seconds. So for the next 100 seconds, they have a decrease in the repair speed, and they get the mangled effect, which is going to keep them from healing. You know, the Grizzly Chain it decreases the repair speed. You don't get any real value, and the Rusted Chain's the mangle. You don't get any real value out of these add-ons normally. These are normally things that you do so that if they do get off hook, that they're slower to heal. But I can wait this timer out a little bit more, right? This timer is not great, especially the repair speed. The repair speed penalty is not really that good because it's not going, you're not going to have time to take advantage of it. Again, remember you've got to factor about 20 seconds. So that means that they, even if they get pulled off hook, that's 70 seconds that the survivors have with this G-crease. And they're going to focus on healing more than likely, or trying to get away from you. They're not working on a gen. This add-on is shit. Well, how do you guarantee the value of the add-on? You put on the speed limiter. The speed limiter actually works really well at coaxing value out of this. Now, you're not going to have an insta-down, so you do need to pair this with something that can give you insta-downs, like a Rancor, a Devour Hope, a Noed, so that you have some way to perform an M1 insta-down, and that makes you really toxic, because people will be scared shitless. Excuse me. People will be scared shitless about the chainsaw, about trying to avoid a hit. But a thing that a lot of survivors don't really do is when they know you're running a speed limiter, they're not going to avoid the chainsaw. So having something like a Begrime chain forces them to think about that. Especially if they're trying to gen rush you, and especially if you have something like Noed or Devour to just punish them. If you spend all game trying to chainsaw you, and they're not really juking it once they know you have a speed limiter, and then you come out of nowhere with Devour and Noed, they're fucked. They have no counterplay to that. I mean, that's a really solid combination of add-ons. This is the best you're going to get on Billy. Leatherface, sorry. This right here. So, the next killer is the Huntress. I don't think she has one. No, she does not have one. I can tell you that just by watching, just by looking at the add-ons. Yeah. Okay. Mike. We're going to come back to Mike. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to come back to Mike. Doctor shouldn't have one. This one is kind of a meme build with the ring, but there's no blood point gain, so I can't call it a meme build add-on. That's the thing. So he technically doesn't have one, even though that's his hardest one to hit. So yeah, we're not gonna cover Doc. Hag should have one. Hag has one, doesn't she? It's a meme one, but there's no blood point gain to it. Oh, no, wait, she does. She has scarred hand. I wouldn't necessarily call this a meme build. I just want to check all the trap. So let's take a look. So you have the scarred hand. This is important right here. So what this does is it makes the Phantasms have collision, and it removes the Hag's ability to teleport. She gets 300% blood points for deviousness, and it trumps all other add-ons. So there's no way she can teleport whatsoever. But the Phantasms have collision, and she gets 300% blood points for deviousness, right? Great blood point gain, but it limits her pressure. So what can you combo with this with? She actually has a lot of things that you can combo this with. You could go for things like setting time. The duration time is nice so that actual traps stay up longer. You could have the aura reveals so that you can see where they're going. That can make it pretty effective. Like the Willow Wreath does work decently well. It basically gives you a free aura reveal, like a black incense, every time they trigger a trap. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But another good add-on is the Cracked Turtle Shell so that they stay up longer. Basically, with this build, what you're going to be doing, because the Phantasms have collision, her little spawny things, you're going to be putting them in places that you want to block off. So when a survivor triggers it, they're blocked and they, like, can't vault it. They have to go around it until the trap goes away. So you can, like, put traps around the killer shack to block people in or out of the shack. Rusty Shackle is an absolute joke. It is an absolute joke. There's nothing you can run. You do not want to run that. I've seen people run a Rusty Shackle at a scarred hand and be like, oh yeah, it's great. Okay, the whole point of the Rusty Shackle is that it does not spawn a hag trap. And so the survivor doesn't know it. And the whole point of this add-on is that it does spawn a trap. So they work opposite of each other. This is a shit one right here. This gives you a little bit of stealth, basically. So this add-on basically gives you a little bit of stealth with it, the Grandma's Heart. It's not great, though, because the duration doesn't last that long. Remember, it's about a 5-second timer that the trap will stay up. So if you have about 5 seconds of stealth, maybe you can mind game somebody. Maybe if it's like a borrowed time situation and the timer's bleeding out. I don't recommend this. Disfigure ear where it can deafen them. Again, I don't recommend that. And we're not going to talk about the mint rag because mint rag is just absolute bullshit. You can't teleport. The big one is the waterlogged ship. So, what this does is this increases her movement speed to 115. And it also keeps with she can't teleport. So this is the ultimate thou shall not teleport build for hack, right? It's not what I recommend, but it's the build. So, it makes you into a 115 killer. So you're essentially an M1 killer, but you're an M1 killer that can basically block off anywhere you put a trap, and you have a ton of blood points, and you have a 115, and anyone that comes in range of the trap gets hindered for about 15 seconds, I think it is. So they're slowed down. This is a really fun build to run, but it completely removes your map pressure. Like, 100%. You have no map pressure at all. But if you want to get a bunch of blood points and you want to piss survivors off, you can run this. Realistically, a more viable build that I would run would be a cracked turtle shell. If you're trying to go for I call it the Donald Trump build, where you just build a lot of little walls that get torn down over time. Or you could pair this with the Willow Wreath if you're going for an aura reveal build. All of these work pretty well, but they remove her strength as a killer. We're going to cover the nurse later on. Nurse and Mike were staving for the end. For Billy does have one. He's the same as Leatherface. He has a speed limiter. The trick is he gets 50% more blood points for a chainsaw scoring event. It still injures. But for Billy, you're going to have the exact same add-on combination as on Leatherface. I'm not even going to bother covering this because I already did. It's the Begrime chain. Because, again, it's the only way you're going to be able to realistically apply it. So, you get more blood points out of it, but it's the same thing as the Leatherface one. It's the same strategies. I'm not going to cover it. Wraith is different. So, for Wraith, we have the Beast Soot. So, this is the terror radius is no longer suppressed, but you get bonus blood points on that. Okay? There's actually a lot of add-ons that you can pair with this, believe it or not. There's a lot of add-ons you can pair with this. Alright, so we're going to start from the bottom here. So the easiest combo you can go for is the Serpent Soot. So, the Wraith will completely uncloak after breaking a pallet or a gen wall cloak. So the advantage of this perk is that you can kind of mind game the survivors, because they're going to be looking around for you, but they're not going to see you. They're going to hear you, but they're not going to see you. And because you have that terror radius, it does make your life a little bit harder, because you're going to get hit with borrowed time, you're going to get hit with diversion, you're going to get hit with stakeout, you're going to get hit with anything that relies on having a terror radius, you're still going to be affected by. So you're not completely, like, countering things. Like, the Wraith being a stealth killer can counter some of those. You're not going to completely counter that. But this is a good combination because basically you can get into a chase with a survivor, break a pallet, and uncloak, and you get the bonus blood points because you will get the uncloaking bonus off of breaking a pallet with this. So you essentially can guarantee the bonus blood points on that. Another good add-on is Bone Clapper. Bone Clapper is always a great add-on to have on him. But the Bone Clapper is nice because not only can they not discern where the Wailing Bell is coming from, it makes it omnidirectional. It also means that they can't tell where you are when you uncloak, because they can't hear where the bell is coming from, and they hear the terror radius, but they can't see you. So it makes it so that you have, like, complete, I call it visible anonymity, okay? Or audible anonymity. It makes it so that they don't know where you are, they just know you're there, and it's really fucking toxic to run. Because they can't, they can hear you, they just don't know from where. That's not really great. That's not really great. This is a decent one, the Aura Blindness on surprise attacks. Because on top of the bonus blood points, they also get hit with Aura Blindness. So that's a solid one, but I wouldn't necessarily call that like a mainstay to run. Yeah, most of these are not particularly great. People want to say like, oh, this is great right here, where it reduces the time to vault or break while cloaked. I wouldn't recommend that with this. I would recommend the aura blindness more, believe it or not, because of the fact that like you're not going to be wanting to do those actions a lot while you're in your cloak. Maybe this is helpful, like if you're trying to force them to throw down a pallet, or if you're in chase and you don't want to decloak, but then again, you're better off just running this so you get out of cloak insanely fast and can guarantee that hit. That is actually a pretty decent one for the reappearance time. Another one is All-Seeing Bell. So while cloaked auras of survivors are revealed within 12 meters of you, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this because most of the time when a survivor hears the terror radius, they're going to run away, and this is a 12-meter one, but it does work decently well. The Catacomb Clapper is another good one because a lot of times they're going to hear that, oh, there's the bell, I'm going up against a wraith. This removes that and makes you think they're going up against an M1 killer, like maybe a different type of killer, I mean. Like, maybe we're getting a trapper. You know, maybe it's a doctor and he's not using his power. Maybe it's like a clown. But pretty much the value of this is just going to be like, you're going to get like one surprise attack off with this, and that's it. I wouldn't recommend it. Another one I do recommend All-Seeing Spirit. This is actually a pretty good way to get All-Seeing Spirit, because normally this is a pretty shitty Ebony add-on, where while cloaked you get the intensity of the auras of the gen, lets you know how far along they are. Because you're not going to have a terror radius, or you're going to have a terror radius, you know, you can add things like Unnerving Presence as well when suppressed. So they may be looking around like, okay, what's going on, not paying attention. But it's not great. I would definitely recommend the Bone Clapper. This is what I think your best build is. But then again, Bone Clapper is good on anything. But Bone Clapper and the Beast, because these two add-ons make it so that you really are stealthy. The next one right here is going to be really easy. So, the big one here is Padded Jaws, okay? So, how do you fix Padded Jaws? Padded Jaws is, they do not damage trap players, but you get a bonus 100% blood points. So, what's the value? What's the value of running it? Like, because you're not going to be able to apply the hemorrhage. You know, you're not going to be able to do any of those effects. What makes it strong? Okay? There's one key tool, alright? Honing Stone. This is the only add-on you can pair with Padded Jaws, and it's insane. Because it rewards the trapper if the survivor decides to stay in the trap and not free themselves because of the Honing Stone. It's a free, I'm going to walk over, I'm going to grab them, and it's a free hook. If they let them stay in the trap, like they're in a chase and they decide not to leave the chase, and another teammate comes and gets the survivor out of the bear trap, it punishes you for not using the trap. Like, the value of this add-on is they're trapped, they're immobilized, you get bonus blood points, and they can't go anywhere for fear of Honing Stone. This is the best 1-2 add-on combo. There's literally nothing else I can recommend running. Like, some people have said, oh, you can pop on an iridescent stone so you can get more traps. No, that's highly ineffective. I would not recommend that. So the last thing we're going to be talking about are Mike and Nurse. Nurse is new, so we're not going to talk about Nurse. We will go to Mike first. So people say, oh, well, Mike has two big meme builds. No, well, no, he doesn't. So if you look, the two meme builds that they're talking about are not ebonies, they're purples, right? You have Scratch Mirror Myers, which is a tier 1 build. Okay, so what this means is Mike is permanently stuck in tier 1, which is fucking dog shit slow. He can't get out of it. He gets 100% blood points for every hit. And he gets another 200% for deviousness. So he gets a lot of blood points off this, but he's slow as hell. He's slower vaulting, he's slower moving, he's got a slower lunge. Why is this not a meme build, you might say? Two reasons. So one, it gives him a fuck ton of map knowledge, because he gets to see survivors' auras when stalking within a 32-meter range. So that is an average M1 killer terror radius right there. So anytime he can just pop stalk, look around for a second, and see who's in his immediate terror radius. Also note, Myers only has a 4-meter terror radius in tier 1. Okay? Now, the only other add-on you can pair with this, you could pair the tacky earrings for the movement speed, but you have to pair up Boyfriend's Memo. Boyfriend's Memo is specifically designed to increase the lunge of Evil Within 1 so that you remove one of your weaknesses. This is your add-on combination. I wanted to save him because perks are deathly important on him, right? So, the ideal perk build that you're gonna want to run here. The last add-on is up to you. This is your required build right here, okay? So what you have is you have Monitor and Abuse. And the reason why you run Monitor and Abuse is because you can't get out of Tier 1. So, as long as you're not in a chase, you have no terror radius. Until you get in a chase with a survivor. Which you can cancel by stalking them. You do have Hex Ruin to slow the game down. You have to have a slowdown perk. Whether it's Ruin or something else, you have to have a slowdown. And you have to have Noed. Because not only does it give you the movement speed bonus, but it gives you an exposed effect, so you can actually get downs. It's the only time I will recommend Noed on a Myers. I'm a bit of a hypocrite, because I do not believe you should run Noed on a killer capable of insta-downs. Myers is capable of an insta-down, but because you can't do it on a Scratch Mirrors, that's the exception where I say, okay, Noed is perfectly fine. You know, other things that you can do to help track down, and because, by the way, you cannot get Bloodlust on Tier 1 Myers. You cannot get it. So, Beast of Prey is useless. You're undetectable in Tier 1 anyway. There's no reason to run Beast of Prey. I'm tired of seeing people running meme builds with like, oh, I will put Beast of Prey in my build because it's good, blah, blah, blah. No. Literally all you're getting is the 50% more blood points if you do that. That's stupid. You know, you can run something like Discordance, Thrill of the Hunt, that all depends on your build. Sloppy Butcher can slow them down, healing as well. Enduring is good for tanking stuns. Iron Grasp for the carries, because of how slow you are. Spirit Fury, you know, Surge is good because you're going to be getting sneak attacks. You know, there's a lot of things you can run. This is one of the few times you don't want to run Nurses. Nurses actually kind of hurts you compared to just using the Scratch Mirror. Agitation is good. Blood Warding can be good if you can get a hit on somebody. Brutal Strength is good. Any Terror Radius perks are bad. Franklin's is good. I mean, Franklin's is good on most killers, though. Fervative Chase, you could maybe swap out Monitor for Fervative Chase, but I wouldn't really recommend that. You could put it in addition to, because then you could remove the penalty from Monitor from being in Chase, but that goes away once you hit somebody. So, Dark Devotion is a meme. There's no point to that. Third Seal is good. Infectious is good. No. I've seen people... It's not. You got the wrong build for that. No point in running Insidious. Literally no point. Lightborn can be good. Iron Maiden can be good. I wouldn't say Mad Grit, really. Save the Best for Last isn't particularly good. Remember Me can be good to slow down. Rancor is good. Pop's good. Play With Your Food is good. People say, oh, it's a necessity to have Play With Your Food. No, it's not. Because you lose it from when you swing. So there's no point. Shadowborn can be good. Tinkering is good for notifications, not for the stealth. Thrilling Tremors is good for the notifications. Whispers for tracking. Bamboozle for vaulting. Remove one of your big weaknesses. Other than that, like, this is your mainstay build. So what's the other add-on? So the other one is the Vanity's Mirror. Now this has a bit more play to it. So you can't get out of Tier 2. So that means you have a 16-meter terror radius, and it means that you have slightly reduced movement speed, so this makes you move in between Tier 1 and Tier 2. Because in Tier 2, you move slightly slower than normal, and the Vanity's Mirror drops that down a little bit further. It gives the aura reveal when stalking in a 16-meter radius, and it gives you slightly less blood points. There's actually ways you can deal with this. There's actually decent add-ons that you can run. So, one thing is you can put on the movement speed while stalking. I don't recommend that. Another thing that you can do would be the Reflective Fragment. So this gives you a reveal in Evil Within 2, so that you don't have to stalk them and you can see. But I wouldn't recommend running that add-on. I just wouldn't. You could be running the Mirror Shard. Again, I would not recommend that. The big one that I'm going to recommend here is the Dead Rabbit. This is the best one that you can run for Vanity's Mirror. Dead Rabbit moderately reduces the terror radius of Evil Within. I believe that's 8 meters. I don't know if it's an 8 meter reduction or a 16 meter, but it reduces your terror radius. And because you never get to evil within 3, that means you never have that penalty. And again, you can stack this with Monitor, and you have a slightly faster, slightly longer range Myers. You're not going to get insta-downs, but you still get the jump scare factor of the stretch mirror without the movement speed penalty. So this build actually does work. You have to have Monitor, you have to have the Dead Rabbit, you have to have the Vanity's Mirror, but this is an insane one. So the last one we're going to talk about is the Nurse, and people got upset that she got so many meme build add-ons to her. And really what I want to cover with her when it comes to meme build add-ons, so you have a couple. So what you have is the White Knit Comb. So this decreases the distance of a blink lunge, but it doubles the blood points for it. Well, mostly this is if you get precise blinks. This is good for if you can hit very precise blinks. This rewards you. Another add-on that she gets is the Dull Bracelet. So this decreases your maximum blink range, but it gives you more blood points for precise blinks, which is exactly what I talked about. So she gets 2 meme builds. For this one right here, the best thing that you can put with it, realistically, is actually Anxious Gasp. And I know what you're thinking, well, it decreases the maximum blink range, why is that not good? You use the Anxious Gasp for more bonus blood points, but, because it's technically a meme one, but to make them scream. So you get a better indicator of where they are, to then hit them for the precise blink. And you can combo this as well off the White Knit Comb, so that you're going to be able to get those precise blinks as well. Either of these add-ons will work, and they give you both blood points. This is basically an extra hard mode. Another thing people like to talk about is... Where is it at? There's another add-on. Is to go and put the maximum blink range on there with either a White Knit Comb or the, where's that at? Or the Dull Bracelet, because this removes one of your biggest penalties as well. But realistically, like, if you're doing this, you're getting 100% blood points and you're getting an increased charge time, which is not what you want to do. You're not really, the range add-ons are pretty much countering each other out. So you have to trade bonus blood points for hits for increasing the charge time, which is not necessarily a good thing to have. So anyway, that is how you can make a lot of your killers pretty viable on meme builds. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed.